Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. I wanted to do a bit of a news roundup today, but there's a lot of information and news in here that's quite difficult to talk about. There's a lot of really good discussions on various things to do with the areas that I want to talk about. We'll be talking about the whole Ellie situation, the first female Overwatch Contenders player stepping down after harassment, specifically looking at the reaction for community figureheads. I want to talk about Overwatch potentially going free to play in 2019. It is just a rumor, we'll go over that in a sec. And then also a content creator that's been leaking scrim VODs of Overwatch League teams, 40 days before the Overwatch League starts, how that happened, and basically to say they're still playing GOATs, so do expect GOATs in Season 2. Let's go over the 2019 rumors. This basically came from a GameIndustry.biz article where analysts that have been keeping an eye on current trends and stuff talk about what they expect to see in 2019. There's various stuff such as major announcements coming out of Take-Two that they're surmising, predictions of digital content to account to 90% of total content spending, and also stuff like a Switch Pro and Lite. It's just analysts that predicted stuff, but we're looking at Michael Pachter, who is from Wedbush Securities. He predicted stuff in 2018, such as Battle Royale being in Call of Duty, and no big game announcement coming out of Rockstar. He also predicted a mobile Warcraft game, which he wasn't too far off the mark for, but you get the idea. These are people that are trying to keep up to date with everything that's going on, and he predicted that Activision will make Overwatch and Blackout free to play. I think that the 18 Overwatch League owners have been assured by Blizzard that it will expand the audience for Overwatch. The most expedient way to do this is to make the core game free to play in order to attract tens of millions of new users. They will convert into Overwatch viewers. They expect this by mid-June. Disgruntled players who bought the core game will likely be compensated by given free stuff. Blackout will go free to play at least a month prior to the launch of next year's Call of Duty in order to promote the new game. Now, as I said, this is just a prediction. Blizzard have said nothing of the kind to suggest that this would be a thing, but I mean, it is an educated guess at the end of the day. I think it'll be amazing to see if it comes to pass, but he has also predicted stuff like Elder Scrolls 6 coming in 2019, and we'll see progress on streaming services like 2019, with an iTunes-like model pay for a single game at a time launched first. Kind of like EA, I suppose. But he's thinking stuff like Amazon, Apple, Google, and Microsoft. That's beside the point, but he has predicted that Overwatch and Blackout would go free to play sometime in 2019. Let me know below if you agree with that or not. Now, let's go over the Ellie stuff, and I need to remind people to keep things quite civil in discussion here. I know that it's quite a heated debate and a heated topic for a lot of reasons, but I don't really want to give my own opinion. I just want to look at the opinion of people in the community, Overwatch, content creators, and of course staff in the Overwatch League. I'm going to sort of give a succinct explanation with what happened. Second Wind, who is a team in NA Contenders, added a new player called Ellie. Ellie, of course, identified as a female, but there was not 100% confirmation of that, and so people in the community weren't sure on the legitimacy of it. Conspiracy theories came out when it came to how authentic she was, whether she, as a player that deserved to be in the Overwatch League and in Contenders, was legitimate. Reading from the .esports article, they pointed to stuff like Ellie's account age because it was a relatively low level. Her name was never listed on the Overwatch Contenders website, and even certain players saying what I think is happening right now is someone is playing on this account and Ellie is talking right beside them. This has to do with stuff like Ellie being somewhat late to response to stuff. Somebody will say something to her, then 5-10 seconds later she will respond. And without actually seeing her and seeing her play, people are saying that she isn't a girl, going as far as to dox her to try and get information to see if that's the case. Because of that, Ellie stepped down from Second Wing due to this constant harassment that's been on her. And regardless of the legitimacy of her as a player, the amount of abuse is insurmountable and actually kind of depressing to look at. The owner, Justin Hughes, will start with what he said. When we brought her onto the team, people acted like we'd brought a symbol of empowerment. I get that people meant well, but on one side she had people questioning her legitimacy, issuing threats, etc., while on the other hand we had people acting like they found their messiah. Ellie wouldn't have been the first player, of course, in Overwatch League, or any form of high-tier Overwatch esports when we have Guguri on the Shanghai Dragons. A similar thing ironically happened to her way back when. I don't know if many of you remember this, but there was a lot of questions on legitimacy on how good Guguri was at Zarya, thinking that she was aim hacking, stuff like that, and she had to prepare like a 3-hour stream of her playing. You could see her mouse moving, you could see exactly everything that was happening to prove that she was as good at the game and she wasn't using aim hacks or anything like that. So it's kind of sad that the levels and rings that female players have to pass through just to be considered good at the game, instead of their boyfriend playing on their account and them talking over microphone, or them just using aim hacks like Guguri was accused of way back when. Of course, this whole topic has provoked other females in the community to talk about their experiences in competitive with similar sort of stuff. Even London Spitfire GM Susie Kim said this way back at the grand finals in around July, was it? On the subject of women in esports. And this came from an interview with AP Sports.
Do you think there are women who are talented enough to be in the league that aren't in the league right now?
Absolutely. Because they don't want to deal with the toxicity, they don't want to deal with the media going crazy over them, they don't want to deal with living with the boys or getting preferential treatment, they don't want to deal with all of that, they just kind of want to play. And so I do know females who are very, very good, but they're just like, it's a headache, I don't want to be a part of this at all.
With Annalyn, who is the director of social media and community for LA Gladiators, talking about previous things that they've gone through. She had a game where she literally spoke on voice chat at the start of a game and somebody started screaming that they lost because he had a girl on the team. Then he proceeded to basically throw the game and become that self-fulfilling prophecy. Fariha, who we have had on the channel, has had comments that she's had. Hey guys, how's it going? With them saying, when did your boyfriend boost you? How much did you pay for that account? What's your Snapchat? Etc, etc. Somebody innocently asked Annalyn what rank she was. She said previously Grandmaster, and then somebody else put, then your boyfriend left you. It's that kind of level of shit that we're talking about here. You also have cases like Queenie, the female streamer that used a voice changer to quell some of the abuse that she was getting when she was using voice comms.
Genji's low. He's going up for the Mega.
Again, this isn't meant to be a video talking about sexism within Overwatch. It just felt like it was an appropriate time to bring up a lot of examples of this, because this instance with Ellie, and granted there's a lot of stuff behind that with players questioning legitimacy, but this isn't an isolated incident. In any case, I don't want to harp on for this too long. If you're going to have a discussion about this in the comments, please keep it civil. Now finally, I want to go over the news that some Overwatch League scrim VODs have been leaked. I didn't want to talk about how this went about. I think it came down to a player wanted to sort of record his perspective, put the VOD on YouTube so everybody else could see his perspective, like the coaches, the analysts, but accidentally set it to live. In that time, people managed to grab it and re-uploaded it so they could see the footage for themselves. It's like 360p. I've checked it out for myself. Honestly, it's not worth watching. It's not that exciting. And they're all playing GOATs anyway, so really, you're not missing much. I guess it's just more of a sad thing that this is happening. And also that GOATs comp is still, you know, a thing in the pro scene. So we got a glimpse to see that the pros are still playing at, not much has changed, and I do think that Season 2, the first stage of the Overwatch League, is going to be full of GOATs too. Maybe some changes come in after that, but who knows at this point. Kind of a sour news roundup to go over a lot of really negative stuff in the community, but not the best way to start the year. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, me just sort of surmising what exactly has happened with the whole Ellie situation. We've had a lot of people ask us whether we're going to cover it, whether we're going to talk about it. It is an interesting conversation, but it's also kind of sad in itself. Thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.